let's say more around the financial market and the capital market this morning. We're looking at the roadmap that CSCS has in the market to push especially technology forth. We have the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of CSCS right here in the studio, Mr. Shehu Shantali. Mr. Shantali, good morning. Welcome to the studio. Good to have you physically.
Good morning.
Yeah, I thought you'd be in Abuja, but you know, we've seen our markets ranking really high, yeah? Do you see it happening this year? Because we've seen a lot of profit taking in the last couple of weeks, more than a month now.
Well, that's quite normal. The market operates in that manner. I mean, when you see the market, looking back at what had happened last year, I believe by the time we ended December 31st last year, the NGX, for example, the capitalization was at 99 trillion naira. Now we're looking at a little under 160 trillion, about 156, 157. So that's how far the market has come. So yeah, year to date, the market has still done a lot, but it's quite normal. I think that's how the market operates.
And how is CSCS fitting into all the activities in the markets?
Well, as an important financial market infrastructure, we're doing our job. CSCS is the backbone of the market. We know that. As an important financial market infrastructure, what we do is to support the entire capital market. So yes, in terms of that, CSCS is doing everything possible, and as the market is doing well, we're also positioning ourselves to actually support the market in a better way.
Yeah, I believe technology is part of it. T+1 is the latest that has happened in the CSCS. I don't think we have totally, you know, gotten into the T+1, especially from the international investors' point of view. From the CSCS, what technology are you presenting? What are you adding to make it seamless, you know, the adoption of T+1?
So on the T+1, which is a very important topic, why T+1? And that's the question I get from most people asking me, why is Nigeria adopting T+1? Are we doing it early? Is it
the transition from T+2 and T+1 too short?
Exactly.
No.
So on the T+1, the question is, and I have to say it clearly, I think that transition to T+1 for us in Nigeria is one of the most important post-trade reforms that we've done in the country. And you ask the question why. Now, you look at the global markets globally. The market is at a point where globally we're at an inflection point. Now, when you look at the markets globally, the US markets, they transitioned to T+1 in 2024. Now, other markets like the EU, the Canada, and India, they're along the way. In fact, to mention India, India is actually the frontier of settlement innovation because they've actually piloted T+0 as we speak today. Now, you look at that and you ask the question, why again? So in Nigeria, we ask the question, what sort of infrastructure do we want to have? Now, because Nigeria's market does not operate in silo. It's in competition with the global markets, and that's a fact. Now, it's in competition with the regional markets in Africa and also with the global markets. Now, these investors, these global portfolio investors, the DFIs, they have now options like never before in history. So, as a country, we ask the question, how do we now cope? How do we now move in tandem with this market? And when you look at that, infrastructure matters. So for us, that T+1 is to make us more competitive and also to get us in line with what the global markets are doing. So yes, you asked the question of what the market is doing. We have reached that point. I believe on 1st of June this year, we transited to T+1. It was a lot of work. Now, because that took a lot of planning in place. And in getting there, there had to be planning, there had to be collaboration, and it was not just CSCS.
Do you have settlement risks with T+1, meeting up with the timing? I know, I believe SEC said it will now be 5 p.m., not 8 a.m. as it used to be. It's giving more time, but do you sense, are there concerns of settlement risks?
Well, we have not seen anything to actually point to that. Now, in any market, there are risks attached to it. T+2 there are risks, T+1 there are risks. So yes, we haven't seen anything so far from the time when we've actually transited. That was on June 1st. We have positive feedbacks from the market, and we have a situation room from that time, and nothing, to be honest, they've done an excellent job. So that situation room has a lot of the stakeholders from the market. So we're monitoring
the market. Is it a 24-hour situation room?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
We're monitoring the market, and we have positive feedback. So we're very confident that we're actually in the right direction.
And you know, a lot of investors do not have an idea of the technological backbone that should or that is holding forth this market. We know, yes, maybe you have an app, so you give a transaction, initiate it, and then you expect it. Maybe you should give us a little bit of, talking about the situation room you're talking about, give us a little bit of those things that we do not see, which is actually holding up the market and the expectations of investors not getting cut off. I know.
Well, that's true. I'll give an example, and let me give this example. You walk back to your house, your lovely house, and you expect the AC to work, you expect to go to the kitchen, and the gas is working, and the plumbing at the bathroom works, everything has to be spot on. That's basically what the financial market infrastructure does. You don't think of all those things if it's working very well. That's exactly what CSCS does. Now, that energy, that infrastructure requires a lot of investments in technology. So we have done a lot of that. We have done a lot of upgrades over the years. And in getting to T+1, we've done a lot of upgrades. For this year alone, the amount of investments we've done in the human power in technology has been a lot. So especially that situation room, we have a team from every part of the market, every stakeholder is involved. So we're monitoring the market and we're monitoring the infrastructure, and so far to this date we're happy that we have positive feedback from
There's no risk of cybersecurity?
What no technology company would tell you they're free of that.
Exactly.
So yes, cyber attacks are very, very, in our line of business we see that. To give an example, for the last year, 2025, we've had over 7,800 attempted hits, which our system prevented. So the risks are there. But as an ISO 27001 certified infrastructure, we also have to improve on that always, and we're always investing in that. So there's always the risk. But for an FMI like CSCS and other global FMIs, what we do all the time is to improve on that. So cybersecurity is our backbone, and that's the core mandate for CSCS.
And any tips to investors, when it comes to the risk around the cyber security?
Well, what I would tell investors is, you see, we're in a market where every second determines outcomes. So I can say clearly that in this market, the most expensive currency is investor confidence. You have to be confident in the market to put your money in there. So if I ask you the question, what time did you sleep last night? You can tell me 8, 9, 10 a.m. or 10 p.m., which means if you're an investor in the market, you are confident enough to leave your money in the market and sleep at night. So that's how important it is for an FMI like CSCS. Investors get to sleep while we do the work. So we do the policing, we ensure that everything works very well.
And you don't charge us too much for it.
Well, the important question is, at the moment, I do not want to preempt. We're definitely going to come up with a communication for the market. CSCS and other stakeholders in the market, and credit to our regulator. We reached out to our regulator and our other stakeholders, and we've realized that we need to reduce the fees in the market. Now, it doesn't make sense that we're trying to grow the market and people are complaining about fees. So one of the things we have done is we've looked inwards and we've agreed on reduction of those fees. The reason is to encourage that adoption and for people to come into the market seamlessly and be able to trade in the market. Our focus is like the future, so we're actually investing in the future. So I'm glad to say that I don't want to preempt that, but in the next few days or next few weeks, you would see communication from the CSCS. We've gotten the SEC approval on that, so we're
certainly looking forward to hearing that. That's always a joy, you know, and especially as we head towards the $1 trillion economy. Yesterday I was having a conversation about millionaires, new members of dollar millionaires,
True.
you understand, in the club. And my guest yesterday did say the capital market, the NGX to be specific, is a major place where, you know, one can tell. So we need those reduced fees so that we can encourage more participants and get more people to be dollar millionaires.
True, exactly. And you mentioned the international investors. For us to get to that $1 trillion economy, we need the foreign portfolio investors to invest in Nigeria. I mean, currently we're looking at about 12% of that. Historically, we've gone to a point where we had a 50-50 local, international, and that's our focus. And I'm happy to say that we're actually discussing, we're engaging them, and we're hopeful that in the next coming month, we should have more participation from the foreign investors.
All right, thank you so much. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of CSCS, the backbone, the technology backbone of the market. Mr. Shehu Shantali, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Good to have you.
Thank you.